Hi, welcome back to the second of these live streams where I'm making Space Invaders using Construct Free game engine. Yesterday at the end of the stream I ran out of time, but I had a little bug where the enemies weren't moving, so I'll just remind ourselves of that one. So when you got to the end, only when they actually collided with the end did they turn. So what I need to do to fix that, we'll add another global variable and we'll call that enemies moving right, and we'll use that to decide which direction all the enemies are going. So initially we'll have that going right. So it's just really a case then of changing these comparisons here for the new global variable as opposed to the family variable that I had set before. So his enemy's moving right. So what we're doing is setting that for all the enemies. Right, so let's try that out. And when it comes into collision with this, what we need to do is set that, toggle that variable. Helps I find the right one. Where is it? Toggle bool. The enemy's moving right. So I don't think I've missed anything there. So, yep, there we go now. The enemy hits the end and they all change direction, which is the behaviour that we're wanting. Right, so before I carry on, I'll just do a little bit of tidy up of the project so that it doesn't start getting in a mess. So we'll just add a group for the player controls, which we'll pop at the top, and in there we'll pop these player controls. And also don't need that there anymore. We can add that. Don't think we need that anymore because that should already work. Let's just check that that works still. Yep. So we'll add a group now for the enemy behaviours. Call it enemy movement. Using groups just keeps the whole project nice and tidy. So every half second the enemies are doing that. I don't actually think we even need to do that for each with the families. I'll just check that it still works. Yep, everything's working fine there, so we can get rid of that. That wasn't needed either. I'll just add another group and we'll just pop in there the bullets. Basically what happens there, that bullet gets destroyed when it goes off the screen. The other thing that I noticed yesterday after I'd finished a stream that I'd forgot to do, when I fire the bullet, if you look, the bullet's going up sideways. That's an easy fix. All it needs doing, there's just a setting in here. I had set angle checked. If we uncheck that, save it before we go. And now if we fire, bullet's firing from a bit of a weird angle. I presume the image point's off slightly. Yep, for some reason it's way over there. So I'll just pop the image point at the bottom And now when we move, that's better. We're firing the one button and up they go up the screen. Right, next up what we want to do is add collisions when the bullets hit the enemies. So what we'll do on play a bullet, when it collides with another object, and that other object will be anything in the family enemies. What we want to do is destroy the bullet and destroy the enemy that we've hit.
It's just the way I can't keep you honest like you're coming clean. It's just the way you seem to be addicted to leaving me. It's just the way now that I can't sleep at night. Now that you're gone, it's just the way you don't know which direction I was coming from. It's just the way I can't seem to tell apart all I Everybody wants for more. Swimming to the lands of the shimmering sands, and we drown just off the shore. All these voices sound the same. All that changes is the name. And I just wanna hear some music with some soul. So many shelter shades of gray. I'm not about to mourn the death of rock and roll. Cast your broken shackles away and sing like you mean it. Sing like you're feeling something. Sing like you mean it. Sing like you're feeling something.
Right, I've been talking to myself there for I'm not sure how long with the microphone off. But hopefully anybody watching this back will be able to follow on with what I've been doing without my voice. So basically what I've been doing is adding the UI in. We've been setting the score. When I hit the aliens, it's setting the score to the value of the alien that's been hit, and I change the score values in here for each one. The higher score for the enemies that are higher up, and then decreasing in value as you went down. So that's a brief recap of what I've been talking about for the last 5 or 10 minutes as with my microphone off. Right, so what we need to do is every tick. Probably don't need to do it every tick, but it's not going to be a particularly system intensive game. It's going to cause any problems just setting a text value every tick. But you could probably get away with just updating this when you actually update the score. In fact, that's what I'm going to do because it is a better way of doing it. So we'll set the text. Hi Tweed. Do you prefer Construct or Godot? I like them both. I'm more comfortable in Construct because I've been using it for 6-7 years. I think long term, once I get more comfortable in Godot, I'll probably do slightly prefer that, but they're both really good engines for 2D, so at the minute I probably prefer Godot, but feel more comfortable in Construct. You've just come at a good time because a couple of minutes ago I noticed I'd had my microphone switched off probably for 5 to 10 minutes, so I've been waffling on explaining what I'm doing and nobody will ever hear what I said. What are you up to today? Anything exciting? Any game dev? Anybody watching this back needs game dev who also streams and puts videos on YouTube, and he streams on Twitch as well, so if you want to check him out, go check out his channel. He does some good stuff, very funny videos. So we're setting the text score there. What we'll also do is in this beginning bit we'll set it to that as well. So now when we play this, hopefully the score will update. Yes, we're getting 10 points for those, 30 for those, and then 50 when we hit the top ones. Don't say anything and no one will know. No, fair point. I don't think there's that many people watch my videos that it'll be noticeable. I am thinking about once I've got this game sort of all live streamed, I'll probably do an edited video anyway, just with it more condensed without a lot of the talking in chat and stuff between it, so it's more just like a tutorial video. Right, so we've set the score now. I've set the score based on the value, and we've added a font and then set up the score in the UI. What we'll set up while we're doing text, I'll just change the value of that so that I know that it's like that. We will also set up a high score display and just a nice little display at the top, say Space Invaders, just so we'll clone that and we'll call that high score heading. Yeah, just drag that in, we'll have that down there. And then we'll clone the score one and just call that a high score. And we'll do those a different colour. Yeah, maybe a more ready colour. Let's copy those values. And we'll change, bring that in, and we'll just change that colour as well to match the heading. And we'll get round to updating that in a little while. I'll just add another global variable for now so it's there for future. High score. Man, you're putting the pressure on with the funny videos bit. No, I really enjoy your videos. They always make me chuckle. And it's intentionally chuckle as well, not like my stuff that probably makes people laugh when it's not meant to be. You've got a wicked sense of humour. Right. Now I'll just add the other text that I was talking about in. I'll just clone that. I'll just call that Space Invaders. Change the colour of that. To a green colour. We'll just increase the font size a little bit. Put the words in first so we can see what size font we can get away with in that. Yeah, as I thought, I've made it too big, so maybe slightly smaller. There we go, so we've now got a little heading, score, which is all updating. So next up we need to get our enemies firing. So I'll clone the player bullet and we'll rename that to enemy bullet. Oh yeah, doesn't actually make any difference, but yeah. Is that better? Right, so well, what's that? The enemy bullet. We'll change that slight different colour. We'll make that green for now. And as the enemies are spawning, it will pop the image point at the top so it sort of spawns lower than the enemies. We need to add one of those into the scene just so that it's there. Next, for construct, you've got to at least in one scene have one instance of the sprites and things that you make. in a larger game I'd probably normally have a separate layout which I just drag and drop instances of everything in and then it doesn't clutter up, but with this both these will get destroyed as soon as the level starts because they've got destroy outside layout behaviours. We'll change that title to player bullets and then I'll set another group for the enemy bullets. So what we'll do, every sort of random number of seconds we will so between a random 2 and 4 seconds we will pick one enemy instance to create a bullet. Pick random instance. And then we will get that to spawn another object. That other object will be an enemy bullet. And we'll get to spawn it on the game layer. And then as before with the player bullet we set it to go at 270 degrees, which we construct, as I explained yesterday. To the right is 0 degrees, so up was 270. On this one we'll set it to 90 so that it moves downwards. Man, you should see my variable names, I'm terrible. Oh, I'm appalling at naming stuff. Some of them get so long. I try and make them so they're really readable, but it just ends up making anywhere I ever use them look a real mess because they've got these really long variable names. Right, let's see if that randomly. Yeah, we'll look to be randomly picking an enemy and firing a bullet. I think the enemy bullets are going a little bit too fast. And probably the player ones are as well, to be honest. So we'll dial that down a bit. So the speed's currently 400, we'll try 200. And we'll change the player one to maybe 250 for now. Does that seem any better? Yeah, I think the enemy bullets, I'm not so sure about them, whether they should maybe be below the enemies. I'll leave them above for now, but I might change them to display under. Another thing that we want, these enemy turner trigger things, we don't want those to be visible because they just look a mess when the game's running. So I'll just uncheck the initially visible. So now they'll still function, but you just won't be able to see them. Right, so a few more collisions next. The player bullet, what we'll do when that hits the enemy bullet, we need that to destroy both the enemy and the player bullet. That's the functionality that's in the original Space Invaders. So the player bullet, when that collides with the enemy bullet, what I want to do is destroy, I'll copy that, save typing, destroy the player bullet, and then duplicate that, and then replace the object with the enemy bullet. So now that should, if I can get them to, yeah, I think I'm going to struggle. This will be fun watching me try and actually shoot one of those. I only need to do it once to check it works. Tell you what, just to check that it is actually working, let's turn the speed down of that to something really slow, just for now, so I can at least hit it. Yep. So we'll just undo that last change, and the enemy bullets are now going fast again. So the enemy bullet behaviours, what we need to add to that is when that collides with a player, we're going to want to kill the player. So on collision with another object, this time the player, what we want to do is destroy the enemy bullet. And for now, I'll do the actual logic of this in a little while. I'll just create a function and call it player hit. I'll just add a comment above that for now. To remind me to do that, but what we'll do here is we'll just call that function. So the logic of the game's all working. It'll destroy the player and then it'll call this function, which at the moment will do nothing. So let's have a check that when the player gets hit. Need to change the keys. I keep trying to use A and D to go left and right, so I think I'm going to have to add those in as keys. Yeah, the player bullet's getting destroyed when it hits the player, which is what we want. Right, next we need to add the enemy bases in. Probably the last thing I'd do on the stream today, because I'll be getting off in shortly, but the bases that they have on the bottom in Space Invaders that protect you for a bit until you shoot them or the enemies shoot them. Right, let me just load up the sprite and then I'll just copy that in here, because I've not that it's an exciting sprite, it's just a square, so I don't really know why I'm even bothering cutting and pasting, because I can quite easily draw a 4x4 square. But anyway, I've gone to it now, so 4x4. Actually, it's bigger than that. So it's got a collider. And then what I'm going to do, just to sort of fake the way that the bases used to work, because they just slowly destroy, I'm going to just build the bases out of quite a few of these. You've also got to make this game in Godot. I'm getting tired of Unity, so I want to start learning Godot. That's the plan anyway. I thought maybe it's more for my learning as well, because being not as comfortable in Godot, I'm going to have to learn things. So the plan is that I'm going to remake quite a few of these old retro arcade games, and I'm going to plan on doing them first in Construct, which sort of get the logic sorted in my head, which will hopefully then make the creation in Godot a little bit more smoother. Right, I just need to change the grid size, because otherwise they're not going to join together. So they were 6 by 6, so just for now I'll change my grid size to 6 by 6, which should mean I can get them all I can really recommend Godot. What is it that you're getting tired with in Unity? Because Unity's never clicked with me. I'm just curious why you're getting fed up of it. See if it's similar reasons to why I don't like it. So I'll just change those onto the game layer instead of the UI layer. Checking what the actual bases look like in Space Invaders. I've had a mental block. Let's zoom back in. Cool, I'll definitely join you for that. Oh, that'd be great. I'm planning on doing these remake streams just on lunch times, and then save the evening streams that I do will be making Ghost Blaster and possibly any game jams I enter. I've got Game Jam coming up at the beginning of April, which I'll be streaming quite a lot of. It's a local sort of indie group. Game Jam 192 episode 2, so I'll be taking part in that between the 2nd and the 10th of April, I think the dates are. Anyone's more than welcome to join that. It's on itch, so anybody fancies joining that, you just sign up on itch, and it's Game Jam 192 episode or part 2, I can't remember the exact title. Random error because of conflicts between different versions of Unity and errors with internal Unity tools that I have to try and fix. Yeah, I just found everything in Unity that it's so big and powerful that they just seem to keep bolting things on, often not with fixing things that are already broken. And I just think, especially for 2D, which is what I predominantly do, it's overkill when you've got lightweight engines like Construct and especially Godot. It's only about 35 meg download or something, and it starts up in seconds, whereas I've not got the newest PCs, and by the time I've loaded it, it can take 5-10 minutes for me to start sometimes, so I just got fed up of that sort of thing with it personally. Right, so those roughly looking like the bases from Space Invaders. So what we need to do now is add an event that when the enemy bullet collides with one of the base sprites, it destroys itself, but also destroys the base sprite. You could always with this do it so that maybe you had a couple of sprite frames and gave the base a health value, that maybe the first time it hits it doesn't totally destroy it, which I may do, I'll see how it plays, and then you could just destroy it maybe after 2 hits. And then we also need to add the same things for when if the player shoots into it. So we'll replace the enemy bullet with the player bullet, and we will replace that object with the enemy bullet as well. So now what happens when we play the game, if I shoot at that with mine, yep, it's destroying, and if any of the enemies actually manage to hit it, yep, one of the enemies hit that one over there then, and it's taken a chunk out of the corner. The other thing that I need to do is when the enemies actually hit the bases, we need to destroy that as well. Because in the original Space Invaders, when the enemies came down the screen, if they got to the bases, they started wiping them out as they went past. So any of the family enemies hits the base. We don't want to destroy the actual enemy. We just want to destroy the base that they've hit. So let's just test that out as well. Just grab all these, move them down a bit, and then play that, and they should then, when they get low enough in a second, start moving down and destroy the bases as well. And while it's doing that, I'll just check chat. Hey Sticks, thanks for popping by. I've got a bit more progress on this. I did sort of in the middle of the stream realise I was talking to myself for probably about 5-10 minutes because I had my microphone turned off. But on the next time now, that should now start destroying these bases. Right, that isn't destroying the bases, so why is that? Right, that's why. Because I'm setting the thing to be when the player bullet collides with the enemies, not when enemies collide with the bases. I've changed the wrong objects. So we'll change that for the enemy, and then we'll replace... Right, we won't have to do it in here because they're both the same now, so it'll replace them both. And change that to bases. So now when any family enemy collides with a base, it destroys the base. So let's see if that's working. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Good to hear. Just about coming at the end of the stream. Just wanted to get these bases working. Probably just quickly add the logic in for setting the high score at the end of the level as well. I just want to add another couple of keys because I keep trying to use A and D to move, but I've got it set as cursor keys. Yep, so now you can see the enemies, when they hit the bases, they're destroying them as well. So what I'll just do, just to stop my annoyance, is add another condition to this. We'll just duplicate that one, and we'll make this an O block, and we'll just change that, add an A in there. Just copy that, that's already an O block, and D. That'll stop my annoyance now when I try and play. Move those back up. Change that grid size back up now. I've got my base pieces positioned. Just group these base behaviours together. Just try and keep the project neat and tidy. Move that to the bottom for now, out of the way, because we still need to do that as well next time. So what I'll do, I'll create another function. I'll just call that game over function, and in there what we'll do, Sticks Media, you also do Game Dev. Yeah, Sticks does game dev. He streams on Twitch as well. You should catch out some of his streams. He's currently making a game called Dinosaurs on Tiny Bikes, which is about a dinosaur that rides a tiny bike. So that's worth checking out. You tend to stream Saturdays and Sundays normally. Normally morning and into the afternoons. So you can check him out there too. He's on Twitch as Sticks Media. And he's got quite a few games on itch as well. Right, so compare two values. First value is score. And if score is greater than high score, all we'll do is set value of score, high score to score. We'll add in next time as well local storage and things like that to actually be able to save that, so that between game sessions the high score gets saved as well. We've still got to add menus in, things like that, and I've got to add in sort of player lives functionality, so I'll add something into the UI with maybe 3 sprites to show the lives left, and then we'll trigger a game over sort of displaying on screen and then wait and go back to the menu. So that's going to be it for today pretty much. Just check chat. Most of the weekends now, try to get back into 7 days a week. Yeah, I've still been waiting for these 7 AM streams. Presume you slept in again this morning, Sticks, or I've had a power cut. That's cool, man. I'll have to follow on Twitch. I'm also on Twitch. Yeah, Sticks Toad's streams are pretty good. Well worth checking out. And he does quite a lot of YouTube videos as well. But thanks for popping in and being in chat. Kept me company. That's going to be it for today. I'll be streaming again tomorrow around probably between 12, half 12 roughly, for another 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll see how far we can get on with this. And then if I don't get it finished tomorrow, then I'll probably try and finish it off on Friday lunch as well. But thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you